Welcome to Nostalgia Hit. In today's video we give you 20 incredible facts about the iconic actor, Marlon Brando. From his off-screen tensions with Frank Sinatra to patenting pool shoes and his final days with Michael Jackson, there are plenty more facts to come. So sit back and enjoy the video. Brando's mother Dorothy, known as Dottie, was an actress and theater administrator. She vigorously supported Marlon's passion for film in spite of his disapproving father. She was also noted for helping Henry Fonda gain his first start in theater. Marlon's older sister Jocelyn was the first to pursue an acting career and went on to appear on Broadway and star in several successful films. Brando was expelled from his first Illinois high school for riding his motorcycle through the hallways. After being sent to a military academy in Minnesota, where his father had studied before him, he was put on probation for being insubordinate, then expelled for sneaking into town. Brando was invited back the following year, but decided to drop out of high school altogether and went on to work as a ditch digger, a summer job arranged by his father. At 18 years old, Brando moved to New York City to follow his dream of becoming an actor. He took classes and workshops across the city and spent his first few months sleeping on friends' couches, including that of Roy Somlyo, who went on to become a four-time Emmy-winning Broadway producer. As an acting student, Brando studied his craft under the wing of legendary teacher Stella Adler. Under her guidance, he learned the techniques of the Stanislavski system, a technique that encouraged the actor to explore both internal and external aspects to help fully realize the character being portrayed. The young Brando was so immersed in his roles, he asked stagehands to dump buckets of ice water on his head before stepping on stage. Brando was the first to bring a natural approach to acting on film. According to Dustin Hoffman, in his online master class, Brando would often talk to cameramen and fellow actors about their weekend, even after the director had called action. Only when Brando felt ready to deliver his lines as naturally and conversationally as possible would he start the dialogue to begin the scene. In his 2015 documentary, Listen to Me, Marlon, he said before that actors were like breakfast cereals, meaning they were predictable. Critics would later say this was Brando being difficult, but actors who worked opposite would say it was just all part of his technique. Brando notoriously relied on cue cards while filming, rather than memorizing his lines, despite objections from several film directors. Brando felt this helped bring realism and spontaneity to his performances, otherwise, he would appear to be reciting a writer's speech. Brando's big break came through his starring role in Tennessee Williams' 1951 film, A Streetcar Named Desire. The role is regarded as one of his greatest. The reception of Brando's performance was so positive that he quickly became a male sex symbol in Hollywood. The role earned him his first Academy Award nomination in the Best Actor category. But it was not his first time stepping into Stanley Kowalski's shoes. Brando starred in the 1947 play of A Streetcar Named Desire and at the time was considered a risky choice due to his lack of experience and young age. In the 1953 biker gang film, The Wild One, Brando rode his own Triumph Thunderbird 6T motorcycle. Triumph's importers had mixed feelings about the exposure, as the subject matter was rowdy motorcycle gangs taking over a small town. The film was also criticized for its perceived gratuitous violence at the time, with Time stating, "The effect of the movie is not to throw light on the public problem, but to shoot adrenaline through the moviegoer's veins." Brando's first and last musical role came in the 1955 musical film, Guys and Dolls. Brando openly admitted his struggles with singing throughout the film, once joking, "I couldn't hit a note with a baseball bat, some notes I missed by extraordinary margins." Each finished musical number was the result of countless takes patched together, which resulted in tension between Brando and co-star Frank Sinatra. Stephen Canfor observed, "The two men were diametrical opposites. Marlon required multiple takes while Frank detested repeating himself." After winning Best Actor for his role in the 1954 film, On the Waterfront, Brando's Academy Award was stolen. Years later, it turned up at a London auction house, which contacted Brando and informed him of its whereabouts. After the success of his 1957 film, Sayonara, which earned 10 Academy Award nominations, with Brando being nominated for Best Actor. The film caused controversy for depicting interracial marriage, but proved a great success. Brando partnered with Paramount to develop films with positive social value that would help improve the world. The partnership established Brando's own production company, Penn Baker, named after his late mother, who had died in 1954. After several years of poor film ratings and production delays, Paramount Pictures president Stanley Jaffe would only allow Brando's Godfather casting under 3 conditions: that he would have to take a fee far below what he typically received, he'd have to agree to accept financial responsibility for any production delays his behavior cost, and he had to submit to a screen test. Coppola convinced Brando to a videotaped makeup test, in which Brando did his own makeup, where he used cotton balls to simulate the character's puffed cheeks. During the late 60s and early 70s, Brando was considered unbankable, and critics were becoming increasingly dismissive of his work. The turning point was in 1972, where he earned a starring role in the first of Francis Ford Coppola's iconic Godfather trilogy. The Godfather became one of the most commercially successful films of all time, and Brando's role as Mafia Don, Vito Corleone, put his career right back on track, winning Brando his second Best Actor Oscar. Brando won the Academy Award for Best Actor for his performance in The Godfather, but rejected it, becoming the second actor in history to do so. The first being George C. Scott for his role in the 1970 film, Patton. Brando boycotted the award ceremony, instead sending Indigenous American rights activist Sachin Littlefeather, who appeared in full Apache attire, to state Brando's reasons, which were based on his objection to the depiction of Indigenous Americans by Hollywood and television. Brando fell in love with Tahiti and its people while filming Mutiny on the Bounty. He purchased a 12-island atoll, Teddy Aroa, and in 1970 hired an award-winning young Los Angeles architect, Bernard Judge, to build his home and natural village there without despoiling the environment. An environmental laboratory protecting seabirds and turtles was established, and for many years student groups visited. In 1983, a hurricane destroyed many of the structures, including his resort. Brando was deeply rooted in the civil rights movement throughout his career and later advocated for the rights of Indigenous Americans. His outspoken activism, in the midst of the harshly segregated 60s, earned him a reserved place near the podium of Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech in 1963. He was also an activist against apartheid. In 1964, he favored a boycott of his films in South Africa to prevent them from being shown to a segregated audience. He took part at a 1975 protest rally against American investments in South Africa and for the release of Nelson Mandela. In 1978, Brando portrayed Superman's father, Jor-El, in the film Superman. He would only agree to the role on the assurances that he would be paid a large sum for what amounted to a small part, that he would not have to read the script beforehand, and that his lines would be displayed somewhere off camera. It was revealed in a documentary in 2001 that he was paid $3.7 million, which would be the equivalent of $16 million today, and 11.75% of the gross profits for 13 days' work. Brando was an Afro-Cuban drumming enthusiast, as well as an inventor, whose prototypes included methods for tensioning drumheads. He also patented shoes that you could wear in the pool to help increase friction as you walked on the bottom, helping to give you a better workout. Brando was a close friend of Michael Jackson, a bond that would strengthen near the end of Marlon's life. In his last years, Brando would stay at Neverland Ranch for weeks at a time. Marlon's son Miko has said, "My dad loved the outdoors, so Michael would invite him over to Neverland. Dad could name all the trees there and the flowers, but being on oxygen it was hard for him to get around and see them all, it's such a big place." So Michael got Dad a golf cart with a portable oxygen tank so he could go around and enjoy Neverland. They just drive around, Michael Jackson, Marlon Brando, with an oxygen tank and a golf cart. Brando was one of the most respected actors of the post-war era. He is listed by the American Film Institute as the fourth greatest male star whose screen debut occurred before or during 1950. He earned respect among critics for his memorable performances and charismatic screen presence and helped popularize method acting. He is regarded as one of the greatest cinema actors of the 20th century. In 1999, Brando was one of just 6 actors included in Time magazine's 100 Most Important People of the Century. He was also named one of the top 10 icons of the century by Variety magazine. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button, as it really helps the channel. Until next time.